Hi guys, Drastic Dyspraxic here with another video. It's a bit of a different video today as I'm with my mum. Say hello, mum. Hello, mum. Yeah, that's what I have to put up with. Anyway, yes, I'm going to lead my mum to take the floor and hopefully you enjoy this, guys.
Hello out there. Hope you're keeping well and safe from the dreaded COVID. Alexa's asked me to share a few words with you guys about what it's like to be the parent of a dyspraxic child, stroke adult. Well, let me take you back to when she was very, very young. I used to get home from work. My mum used to look after her while I was working, and she'd be sitting in her playpen reading the paper, and we thought this was a bit weird, and my mum assumed that she was just fascinated by the lines on paper, but not long after that, and again before she could even stand up and walk, she was actually saying words, in a little baby voice, but she was pointing to bird and dog and things that she understood. So, she went straight onto the baby books straight away, and she was finished within about 10 minutes of picking those up. Didn't think anything more about it because we didn't have any other children in the family. And so I was, she's my one and only. I had no other children to compare this to, so we just thought we had quite a special baby, really. Then she, she got on her feet, and then she was all over the place like a butterfly on speed, but that's pretty much what kids are like. And then she went to school. She'd only been at school about a year when the headmistress called me in to say she wasn't getting on. She spent a lot of the time staring into space, and when her name was called, she'd be somewhere completely different. And the headmistress wondered if she had trouble with her ears. And we should perhaps start by getting them checked out, which we did. It got to hospital stage, and she did have severe problems with her hearing. So of course, when she wasn't when she couldn't hear, she was just in her own little dream world. So we got her ears mostly sorted out. It's a problem that still rumbles on to today, but she was able to hear, and she should have got on famously at school, but again she was still just shutting off. Nothing could, she was like in a bubble, but at playtime it was also noted that the other kids weren't playing with her, and she wasn't engaging with them, so she got to the end of, I suppose it was infant school, and the headmistress again said, no, there's something a bit more than this, and she was quite genned up. Well, they have to be. She's a headmistress. She's known hundreds of kids. She would be able to observe whether there was something not quite right, and would I be agreeable to them calling in the psychologist to check her over. I agreed to that, and the process seemed to take a long time. I can't remember now, but it seemed to be a hellishly long time. And then I got called to the school for a conversation with this psychologist who, have you heard of dyspraxia? It's a form of autism and this, that, and the other, and basically it's something wrong with the wiring in her head to her hands and feet, like a badly wired TV. It would splutter in and come to life and then go off and then do something else, etc., etc. No, I hadn't heard of dyspraxia, so he wrote down the name of a book which is called Praxis Makes Perfect. I've still got it up in the attic, but quite frankly, it's a half-inch tome of technical terms, and you need the patience of a saint to read it page by page. I had the telephone number of the local Dyspraxia Foundation contact, which was the other side of Maidstone. We live on the south side of Ashford, and I was working full time, so there was no way I could get to this guy or these people to get any further information. And besides, when I needed them a few months later, the phone number was unavailable, so that was that. There wasn't any help. She was treated pretty shabbily, not only by the kids, but also by the teachers when she got to junior level. Still, apart from a few, pigtail pulls and pinches, she wasn't particularly physically abused, but the name calling made her cry. And
I was on the back.
Was that in the junior? I thought that was senior school.
Oh, I might have been senior.
Yeah, it was senior school.
Senior.
So she muddled through junior level as well. She did have a wonderful special needs teacher who we were lucky enough to have had her on Alexa's side all through junior school and senior school, so that was great. The psychologist, I can remember him looking me square in the eye and saying to me that by the time Alexa was a teenager, I'd wish that she had a physical disability. And I thought that was the cruelest thing that anybody had ever said. But do you know what? As she grew into her teenage years, I understood exactly what he means. People are so judgmental. Not that she was ever badly behaved in public. I mean, she wasn't a screaming child, or she didn't run wild in supermarkets, etc. But she used to stare, and the times I've had people saying there's something wrong with that kid, I thought that was a very cruel thing to say. And I asked him what help there was out there. He said, well, very little. He even suggested that she went to a residential school somewhere outside Birmingham where they specialise in these kind of children. I said she was far too small for that. No, they weren't going to take my girl away from me. So they didn't. But help, there was no help. I phoned social services on several occasions and no, don't know anything about it. Could it be the mental team? Phone the mental team. No, it's not a mental condition. Go back to the physical team. Long and the short of it is, we got no help from anybody. The guy the psychologist had given me, on departure from our meeting, a leaflet called Your Disabled Child. I never got to read that leaflet because as I stepped out of the classroom into the playground, I screamed and screamed and screamed and just tore the pamphlet up and threw it into the air. I thought, this is so unjust, how can my girl be disabled? So we tended to ignore that. I mean, we've had so much prejudice. As I say, people in the street, there's something wrong with that kid. Oh, there isn't. She's just different. And she was different. I mean, trying to get her to get dressed, she she hated PE at school for very good reasons. Firstly, she never got picked to be in anyone's team, so she used to sit on the side. And then the worst part, she tells me, is when it was time to get changed. All the other kids would be dressed and out, and she'd still be sitting on the bench trying to button up her blouse, which never went very well. We overcome this in the end by asking the school's permission for her to wear white polo shirts instead of blouses, which they were very agreeable to, and elasticated plimsolls instead of lace-ups. Again, what a good idea. So there are ways around things. It didn't help us with the time telling. I mean, she didn't get a grasp on telling the time until she was in her early 20s. It took that long for her to, the numbers, because she has dyscalculia as well. She just couldn't grasp the numbers, but she's fine with that now. But we even had prejudice within our own family. I mean, she'd been called backwards. What? Eh? Backwards? She just... Ugh. I don't know how I didn't strangle that particular person, but needless to say, my girl's never seen her since. Yeah, what else were we talking? Oh, then we got to...
we talked about high school.
We got to the senior schools, and that's when the problems really started. Yeah, with the physical abuse as well as the name calling. I mean, she used to come home with wheels on her back where they, flicked her with their satchel belts, and on one occasion you were even threatened with knuckle dusters, weren't you?
I was indeed, yeah. That was
Goodness
very, very
me.
scary.
I used to hate having to send her to school, but her problems would have been the same whichever school we sent to. This poor little love, I suppose it was the last year of your junior school, wasn't it? She had a friend, and I say friend, inverted commas. You know, the kind of kid at school that always has a little posse of friends around them, the most popular girl in school type scenario. Alexa fell into her web, and I was always quite dubious about her friendship with this girl, but she was a friend, and her only friend. She was very excited that there was going to be a big sleepover at her friend's house, and there was going to be lots of girls and popcorn, pizza and movies, and she waited for her invitation, and so-and-so got invited, and so-and-so got invited, and so-and-so and so-and-so got invited, but my girl didn't. And I saw the light fade from her eyes then. This girl had her sleepover, and how could she not invite me? And when she asked why didn't you invite me to the sleepover, she was told quite blankly, we didn't want to catch what you got. So that was the end of that little friendship. But I saw the light fade from my girl's eyes that day, and she stopped being bubbly and peppy, and she got quite sullen and cynical, and she kept herself to herself. There weren't going to be any friends. Senior school came, and as I say, the physical abuse on her was unbelievable. She had, as I said, a wonderful special needs teacher, but they can't be there 24/7. I was back and forwards to the school, but you get the same one. Oh, we've got a very strict bullying policy here, and it's just not happening, but we'll keep an extra eye out. My eye. But she coped, and she did, towards the end of her schooling, find a friend. I was a bit sceptical at first, as you can imagine. But this friend actually turned out to be a real friend, and is her...
my sister from another mister.
Yeah, her friend even now, and she doesn't care what problems my girl has and her funny idiosyncrasies. She accepts her for what she is. And I don't think anything will ever destroy that friendship, because they've been through so much together. Yeah. But from a parent's point of view, it's been hard. I mean, it's not nice when your kid comes home from school crying, because so-and-so's tease them. Oh, she's had chewing gum smeared through her hair.
Metal buckle.
She's been beaten and scratched and taunted, and I think she had more strength than me, because I was about to throw the towel in, but she stuck with it. And this special friend was an absolute tonic. Then we got called to see the head of this school. It's coming up to GCSE time, and we don't think she's up to it, and we don't want to put her through the humiliation of taking the exams and failing. Have you discussed this with my daughter? I said. Well, no. I said, well, I think the decision is hers and hers alone. And if she wants to do it, then, let her do it. So I discussed this with her, and she did want to do them, and we had everything crossed. And she flew through. I mean, I'm not saying that she got A's and B's or even high C's, but she passed every single GCSE, and some of her peers didn't even bother turning up for their exams. So that says a lot about the tenacity of my girl. She sticks with it, even though it's been very painful for her. Then, as an adult, trying to find work out there. I mean, she did stay on at school, and again, against the teacher's advice, she stayed on to do a level 2 cash certificate in childcare, which is now obsolete, I'm told. But she did it. But then again, you see her sitting here trying to fill in these CVs and application forms for jobs, and she's got nowhere. I mean, she's applied for literally hundreds of jobs, but because people don't understand or don't know what dyspraxia is, they automatically assume it's something really, really bad, and she never even got to interview level. So she's suffered from depression, as I have, through just trying to hold it all together. It's not all doom and gloom, though. Don't think it is. I mean, we have a laugh, don't we, Alexa?
We do.
We laugh at each other.
Yes, I'm always laughed at. I am sort of like the butt of the joke, especially if I say something that I know what I mean, and my mum's like, that's not right, is it? That doesn't make any sense. But yeah, you have to laugh at it, guys. It's so important, and I've said this so many times. If you can't laugh at yourself, then what is the point? And yes, I have been through a lot of rubbish in my lifetime. I have. But my mum is my absolute rock. She has been there for me from day one. She's always understood. I mean, there are times that my mum will ask me to get the laundry bin, and 10 minutes later the laundry bin will still be where it was originally. And she does get a little bit antsy with me at times, but I learn to just swipe it aside, because I know that, she doesn't mean it. She's just a little bit agitated by the fact that I haven't done what she's asked me to do. But,
yeah, see, I'm no saint. I can lose it over this constant reminding all the time. And then, of course, how far do you go with that? Because then, she'll go upstairs and I'll say, can you bring the towels down for the wash? 6 times, and you think, Alexa, bring the towels down for the wash.
Yeah.
It can be a bit wearing on occasions, but we understand, don't we?
It's just frustrating. I think with dyspraxics, you suffer from low mental, your not low mental health. What am I talking about? Memory loss. I'll get it out in a minute, guys. But I am dyspraxic, so yes, memory loss. I can remember things that happened years and years ago, even to the small details of what clothes I was wearing. but I can't remember what I did 2 minutes ago.
No.
And that's just how it is. But yes, people in this house do get annoyed with me, but they understand to a degree. And I've always said from the beginning, you can't understand a dyspraxic unless you're dyspraxic yourself. And I think that's right, isn't it? That's important.
No, you can get into the psyche of a dyspraxic. I wonder what's going next. And there's lots of things she still can't do. I mean, she can't wash her own hair because when her head's down over the sink, her hands want to go somewhere else, and so I'm still.
Can't even do it standing up.
No, you can't. You can't do it standing up.
Because my balance is bad as well.
Yeah.
So I can't even do it standing in the bath and do it, because there's one thing with dyspraxia that a lot of people do suffer with, and that is a twitch. And my twitch is I close my eyes, I shut my eyes. When my mum hair dries my hair,
falls over.
And I fall over, so my balance is off key. But when my mum dries my hair with the hairdryer, I automatically close my eyes, and I just can't help that. That's just a twitch. Because when I was younger, I had to have speech therapy.
Yes, you had to have speech therapy.
So that's sort of like what's come from that, really. So my twitch is basically what my speech used to be like when I was younger. So it's very, very frustrating. I wish I could do it.
Yeah, there are other things she can't do. I mean, she can't. She lives in jeans and t-shirts because they're easy. But if we have to go to a function, a family do.
Worst nightmare.
It is for you.
Worst nightmare.
People would probably pay to see her try and roll a pair of tights on. It really is the funniest thing.
Yeah.
So I have to do that for her. Zipping up dresses, that's a no-no.
Yeah. Buttons on the back, zips on the back of dresses.
Buttons, zips, clips. No.
No.
Alexa just doesn't do those.
No.
When she does, the
the
result is fairly hilarious.
It's very, very funny.
It's not been that many years since you could brush your own hair, is it?
No, it hasn't. No.
And teeth.
Yeah. These are all things that I had to be taught when I was younger. I can't remember who taught me.
Well,
sort of like a group.
You got to your late teens, early 20s, and I was, I'm still working, so I had to sort your teeth and hair out before I could get myself ready. And I did get to a desperate situation where I phoned the social services. Well, we got bounced from. It's not physical. It's a mental. You'll have to speak to the mental team, and so I spoke to the mental team. No, it's not. It's not a mental condition. It's definitely physical. Yeah. So nobody wanted to take ownership of what dyspraxia was, because even the professionals don't know.
No.
We did get a surly woman round, because, I wanted, is there a better way? Can we teach her to brush her own hair? I've been trying for years.
And wash the hair as well.
No, that didn't happen. She was more interested in, why don't you wear makeup? That was a laugh.
Yes, I look like Coco the Clown. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, she looked like Pennywise, actually.
Yeah, I did look,
in it.
did look a bit like Pennywise, yes.
So we don't do makeup, do we?
No, we don't. I mean, when that lady came over, guys, she made me clam up. I didn't feel like she was on my wavelength at all.
She wasn't even on your side.
No, and she got angry with me as well, and I'm just like, hang on a minute, you're the professional. It was just horrible. I'd have my mum said about my special friend, I'd have her over, and the lady would say, can you please move? Can you go into a different room? And I'm like, hang on a minute, this is our house, not yours.
No, well, she only came the once. She didn't come back.
Twice.
Was it twice?
It was twice, yeah.
Well, she was she was worse than useless, wasn't
yeah,
she?
she was. So, yeah, she didn't.
We stopped trying to get help. Well, you were also, when you were on JSA, you were told that because you were disabled, you were entitled to a free bus ticket.
Yes, they know about this. It was the bus pass that the job centre said that I was eligible for, And as you know, I went down to my local council, and I was quite peppy. Went down there, didn't think anything was going to happen. And the lady looked at me up and down, and she just said, "You're not disabled, can't see it." And that still resonates with me today. That still angers me today.
The psychologist was right.
Yeah.
I have to agree.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, if she had a withered arm or a pronounced limp, then she'd have had a lot more sympathy and a lot more help than she's ever had.
Yeah.
But it's not all bad. We do laugh. We do laugh. I got home from work one night and she said, "Mum, I've cooked your tea." And I thought, oh, that's wonderful, how many years have I waited for this? And she had made the most wonderful vegetarian bolonaise sauce. It was lovely sauce. But she had forgotten to cook the spaghetti. And so as not to upset her, you can imagine I was sort of like trying to shove bits of raw spaghetti and how it crunched. And in the end, I just couldn't eat anymore.
It's a bit like when you're younger and you make mud pies for your parents, and you're like, "Why aren't you trying it? I've done my best to make you a mud pie. Why are you not trying it?" Simply because it's not edible.
Yeah, she doesn't cook. And she doesn't use the washing machine because the lights are flashing,
Yeah, I don't understand washing machine.
The cooker, which knob do I
turn? Yeah, to a degree. I do cook to a degree, but I don't do anything massively fancy.
And there are things she's not allowed to eat.
Yes.
Like cream of tomato soup.
Oh no.
Most of it goes down her front.
It does. Yeah.
And it has to be carried to the table for her.
Yeah, it does.
Because heaven knows, I've ended up with soup all down my back before.
Yeah, and the other week I sprayed you with cola as well, didn't I?
Yeah.
So this is all normal for us. There was even once a time when my special friend made me spaghetti bolognese, and I ended up getting it on her cat. Which,
in fairness, the cat was very stupid and just sat there and let it happen.
She did, yes.
Instead of doing what cats should do and run away, she just sat there and waited for more.
Sat there, yeah.
But even now, if we have something like that, spaghetti or you better put a tea towel.
Yeah, I do. This is my thing. I get a tea towel and I clip it to my t-shirt.
Get bibbed up.
I clip it to my t-shirt with pegs. That's absolutely 100% true. There's no other way I can do it because I will end up spilling it everywhere. I'm just a nightmare.
Having said that, she's a wizard with the vacuum cleaner. Although she doesn't do what I do and move the furniture and do underneath. She'll just do what's visible. I won't ever let her loose with a feather duster
or lawnmower.
And the one time she said, "I'll mow the lawn for you, Mum." Her mind was obviously somewhere else because she mowed clean through the cable and could have killed herself. So she doesn't do that either.
I'm not allowed to. When I dust, I'm not allowed to pick up any of my mum's collectibles.
No, I collect fine china. That's a bit stupid. That was a silly hobby to take up as the parent of a dyspraxic child, I can tell you.
I'm not allowed anywhere near them.
Yeah. Yes. I'm nothing if not optimistic.
Yeah, this is the thing. You have to laugh. And as I've always said, it's really important too. It's important to accept yourself. And we do. We do.
Our days are filled with laughter, aren't they?
Yeah, especially when I say something that I know what I mean, and my mum just goes,
"It comes
You didn't mean that.
backwards,
You didn't mean that, did you?" No,
no. And her constant falling over things that aren't there. This elusive lump in the carpet that none of the other family can see or feel. It follows her around. Yeah.
There's something with your door handle as well, isn't there? Every time I walk into my mum's room, if I'm wearing jeans, the bit where the belt goes round, it gets stuck on her door handle, and I have no idea how I managed to do it.
But she keeps trying to walk forward,
Yeah.
even acknowledging the fact that the door handle is wedged firmly into the loop on her jeans. She'll still keep trying to walk forward, which
is hilarious.
Has ended in some.
It has,
yeah.
It has, yeah.
Yeah. So dyspraxia is not all bad. I mean, don't let it grind you into the ground. You will lose patience. I mean, we're only human beings. And it's somehow it's worse, as a parent when you get home from work and your dog's tired and they're sitting there and it appears that they've been sitting there all day doing nothing. But we have a laugh, don't we?
We do have a laugh.
And I mean, I've mentioned her reading when she was a baby. I mean, she was reading properly before she went to school. Quite complicated stuff, actually. And even now, she can read a newspaper before I've even got through the first page. We bought her that game Boggle one Christmas. It's like a plastic box with lots of letters, dice inside with different letters of the alphabet printed on these, and you press the top of this box and the dice shoot up in the air and land, and you have to make as many words as you can out of the top face of these dice that's showing. And almost before the dice had landed, she'd written a book on the words that she'd seen from that. She can read upside down. She can read right to left. She gets through word search books like,
I do it really fast. I do it really fast.
Terribly fast. And we don't play Scrabble with her.
No.
It's
I'm not allowed.
No,
I'm banned.
No, she's banned from Scrabble.
I mean, it's strange when my special friend, she asks me to do. She does like the crossword, and she'll have the letters left over, and it'll be the anagram, and it'll be famous celebrity or something like that, and I'll just go da 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 da, and she'll go, "How did you get that so fast?" And it's just because I can look at letters and I can just make it look like a word in my head, and that, I suppose, in a way, that is a nice thing to have, I guess. But yeah, it's very, very interesting, especially when she gets really annoyed with me and goes, "How did you work that out so fast?" You can ask my brain that. I honestly don't know. I just do.
Yeah, but you all have something that you're good at, seriously good at. I mean, there are dyspraxics out there who are great surgeons. There are dyspraxics out there who are great vets, great poets, mathematicians. I think I read somewhere that Einstein was dyspraxic. I mean, what better pedigree can you have? Honestly, you people are wonderful in your own way, and Alexa is very much loved, as much for her clumsy dyspraxic side as she is for anything else. I've got a couple of questions here. How does it affect Alexa and you? Well, I think our little chat has
basically answered that.
Answered that. And another question: did you find you had enough help? No, not when Alexa's growing up. She's in her 30s now. I believe there is a lot more help out there now. The word is out. Dyspraxia is real. It's not a word that's been made up.
No.
A lot more people understand it. So, you're all doing fine, really. Just don't lie awake at night worrying about it.
No, there's
just
no point.
Go with the flow. They're wonderful people. And do you know what? I wouldn't swap my girl for a dozen kids who are rounded and don't have any problems at all. So, she is very special to me. She's my pride and joy. And I wouldn't trade her for all the tea in China. So if you have any problems or any questions, you can ask Alexa. I can answer from my side of the table, so to speak, and she can give you her interpretation of the situation. Don't suffer in silence. Don't suffer at all. It's truly a gift what you've got. I used to tell you when you were little that you weren't different, you were special.
I was special, yeah. Yeah,
and they're not hollow words. No. They're not hollow words. No. She is very, very, very special. And I feel that I'm so much luckier than a lot of my friends. My daughter didn't fly the nest and go off to university. She's not out there living her own life. She's still very much at home, and I'm still very happy to look after her. So there you go. If that makes me sound selfish, then so it is. But I just want to keep my beady eyes on her so that
so I don't make any more mistakes.
So that she doesn't drown in cream of tomato soup.
Yeah.
So you're probably getting tired of my voice now, so I'll pass you back to Alexa, the drastic Dyspraxic.
Which you also came up with the name, didn't you?
Yes.
Mum came up with the name Drastic Dyspraxic, and it seems to have just stuck.
So she's my girl, and I love her, and all you chaps and lasses are amazing too. Just focus on that. You've got something the rest of the world ain't got. Love it.
Oh, it's all right, guys. We're swapping over chairs.
I'm sorry, I just had a dyspraxic moment where I nearly fell over her waste paper bin. Bye.
Oh. Right, sorry about that, guys. Hi, I'm back again. I hope you found that really inspirational. I know I certainly did. I did get a little bit tearful then, especially when she said she wouldn't swap all the kids in the world for me. I do become frustrated at myself, and there are times I wish I didn't have it. But most of the time, I'm glad I have. I think it's shaped me into the person I am today. And I mean, everything my mum said is absolutely true. I mean, with the cooking side of it, I can cook to a degree. There are some things I'm good at cooking, but other things I just won't try. Like I said, I'm not good with temperatures. I'm not good with times, really, unless I've got the timer. And yeah, I mean, it is incredibly frustrating, but it's just something that happens, and it's something that I've had to accept. But yeah, so I hope you guys are all really well today, and my mum is absolutely right. Each one of you individuals are amazing. The fact that we put our nose to the grindstone, so to speak, we do things a lot more. If we're told that there's something we can't do, we will try it again and again and again, and we'll strive to actually achieve what we want to. But yeah, so that is the talk with my mum. Hopefully you really enjoyed that. That was very, very eye-opening, and hopefully it'll be eye-opening for a lot of you as well. Okay, so that is me today. Take care, guys. Look after yourselves. Accept yourselves and laugh. And I am the Drastic Dyspraxic.
And I'm the Drastic Dyspraxic mum.
I thought she'd gone, but she's still behind me. Okay, guys. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.